One day I was talking to one of my biggest clients, who's a celebrity client in the art world, and I just asked her, would you ever let me sell one of your properties for you? I ended up selling it 2 weeks later, then I got into real estate.
Could you pinpoint some of your early edges that helped you stand out?
I was always like pretty creative. We brought a real live owl. It was a Eurasian barn owl, which is like triple the size of a normal owl. It caught the eye of a celebrity, a big singer, pop star. She ended up coming at like 11:30 at night. We showed her the house. She bought it. The owl worked on that one.
Why is video so important to you specifically?
I know agents who have been in the business for a long time and they won't like spend any money on photos. They won't do video. They don't do social media. That doesn't fly anymore.
What are some other tactical shifts that agents can make who are trying to break into a luxury market?
I think one of the biggest things is people's mindset. When you have that shift to that confidence that you should be there, then you can start to like walk the walk. But until then, you're just kind of faking it and people can tell.
Welcome to the Luxury Presence Podcast. Today we have an incredible guest that I've been really looking forward to interviewing, Eric Haskell, who's top producing agent, dominating coastal communities all across Southern California. Eric, thanks so much for being here today.
I'm excited to be here. That was an amazing introduction. Thank you for that.
Absolutely. Let's dive in.
Let's do it.
You've had such a dynamic career, from competing on the U.S. national surf team to working as an art curator, designing furniture. What ultimately pulled you into the world of real estate?
It was kind of a strange origin because I was going from the art world and I basically had a lot of like high-end clients that I was working with. And I was kind of in a transitional phase. I actually got a real estate license 10 years prior that I never used. I never hung out with a broker, nothing. And so one day I was talking to one of my biggest clients, who's a celebrity client in the art world. And I just asked her, I was like, look, would you ever let me sell one of your properties for you? And I'd never sold a property. I'd never even done a contract in real estate. I basically was totally amateur. And she was like, yeah, sure. You could show this one and this one. And one was a $34 million property and one was an $11 million property. So then I went over there, I looked at them, and I just kind of like started calling everyone I knew from my other business. And within the first week, I had like 7 or 8 showings set up.
Wow.
And so I didn't know if that was good or bad. I had no idea. And so I brought a bunch of people through, and she's like, wow, you're bringing a lot of people through. Like the $34 million one I had on the market, and we didn't have that many people last year. And so one of my clients that I talked to ended up coming in and making an offer, and I ended up selling it 2 weeks later. Then I got into real estate.
That's insane.
Yeah.
What a cool story.
Yeah, it was kind of like, I remember the moment where I was just like, should I ask her? Should I not ask her? This feels a little weird. But she said yes.
Yeah. So you've clearly leveraged your past experience in the art world and whatnot. But could you pinpoint maybe some of your early edges that helped you stand out in the beginning?
I think when I did that deal, and then a friend of mine wanted me to list their property. And I was like, okay, what is going to be my thing?
Yeah.
And so I had some like stuff doing like writing and directing and doing short films and all that. And I was really just into like, I was always like pretty creative. So I was like, I just want to start, like, if I get an opportunity, I want to do a really cool video. So I ended up coming up with a concept for a video, and we went to shoot it that day, and the model bailed at the last second. And I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? So I had I ended up using my 3-year-old daughter in the video. And it ended up being like the best mistake ever, because it was so cute. And we did this like cool video that it like really got out there. And so that from that point forth, I was just like, I want my angle to be like doing really creative videos and different kind of, I want it to feel like, we're branding the property and just kind of take a different angle on it. So I do a lot of narrative videos, and that's still to this day. Blake Farga, who's been partnered with me for a while, he went to NYU film school. So he just shoots our videos, and he's insane. So I feel really lucky. It was like the perfect union.
Definitely want to dive into some of your creative marketing, because you are the best in the business. Honestly, I love your work. It's really cool. But would love to talk about some of your other creative ventures first, because you haven't left your creative past behind. You still have Haskell Design, and you have your own antique store in Montecito.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's like not so, I mean, I've like gone so full into real estate that I can't even do anything, but I think with that, but I think it's more, I've just kind of found a niche and just like helping the people I work with to kind of like take that into what we do with their listings and come up with like unique ways to make the house look more expensive, or how to stage it in a certain way, and just kind of like try and differentiate however we can. And luckily I've, collaborated with so many people over the years that we have other people that will come in and advise us. And so, I wouldn't say I'm very deeply involved in any of that anymore, but I just don't have time to. But yeah, that all kind of, that's all part of what we do.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Can you give me some specific examples of how your creative past and your experience in that world has sort of informed your positioning of luxury listings, or maybe architecturally significant properties?
Yeah, I mean, I studied history of art and architecture in school. That was one of my majors. And then I just kind of was, I grew up with, my family was kind of always in art or architecture. So from a young age, I just really kind of was like, I ended up going with my dad to all these killer estates, and he was an antique dealer. And so I'd kind of get first look at all this stuff. So I think like when I started to dip into like the high-end luxury market, I could like walk in the house and I could kind of, what I noticed is with my clients, like they really have a lot of pride in how they present their home, the art, the pieces they choose. And I noticed when I would walk in and I could identify like the things in their house, they'd be like, oh, you know what that is? So I think it just kind of like brought in a different element, rather than I'm just kind of like talking to them about what the price per square foot is or what the comps are. I could kind of relate with them on a different level, that I think I kind of spoke their language that they wanted to hear, like in someone who understood what they had put into their home to make it feel special.
Yeah, definitely. Your creativity shows up in so many different parts of your business. As you previously mentioned, you're listing videos and staging all types of ways that you prepare a home for the market. But what does your creative process look like when you do take on a listing and decide how to market it?
Yeah, we're always like, right now we've been shooting a lot of videos, and we're like, every time we're like, oh man, we got to come up with something new that's different. And it gets hard to come up with new ideas.
Yeah.
But I think we just try and identify like what is this house? Who do we think the buyer is going to be? How do we differentiate it from the competition? And that's, taken us to some pretty like wild ideas with how to do houses. I know one of our most creative one, I would say, was that it was a house, actually. I had never sold a house in Beverly Hills, and my client, I had sold a bunch of other properties, and they're like, you're my listing agent in Beverly Hills. I'm like, I don't know anything about Beverly Hills. Like, I honestly don't. You should use a different agent. He's like, no, I want you to do it. So it had been listed with another agent previously. And so we just said, we're going to come up with a pretty creative concept on this, and just like trust us on this. And we got there, and we had an owl that we brought with, a real live owl. It was a Eurasian barn owl, which is like triple the size of a normal owl. And then we hired a model, and we kind of just wanted to do this edgy kind of like Dolce and Gabbana, or like a high fashion type video. And we got there with the owl. He's like, you're not bringing that owl in my house. Like, just like trust, like we had to have our shoes, but then we brought this big owl in, and so we did this kind of conceptual, kind of noir feeling video, and we ended up, it caught the eye of a big celebrity, a big singer, pop star, and she saw it, and her agent's like, I don't know what, she likes the owl, I don't know what's going on, but she wants to fly in and see it tomorrow night. And so she ended up coming at like 11:30 at night. We showed her the house, she bought it, and the owl worked on that one. So every single time, it's just like trying to get a feel for for what the house is, and then just come up with a creative way to present it. And it's some are better than others, but we try and do a good job every time.
Yeah, definitely. You heavily leverage video, and I think they strike a lot of emotion clearly in the audience that you're trying to reach. But yeah, why is video so important to you specifically?
Because I think that, like you said, we're trying to create an emotional feeling, and people will be like, "Oh, you got to shoot this and this," and it's like it's not even about those rooms. It's not. We don't need to see the powder room. What we want to do is elicit some kind of reaction from the person watching it, and we also want them to watch for more than like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Which everyone's attention span is so short that it's like, how can we do something that someone will sit there and watch? Our longest videos are 60 seconds now, but then we'll do it shorter. Because 60 even is like, that's a long video. It used to be 2 to 3 minutes for the videos, but now it's like 60 and under. You got to do that. So we just try and like elicit an emotional response. And then if they want to see all the other stuff, they could look at the photos. But that's always the key. Like, do I want to feel like I live in Europe? Do I want to is this a place I can picture my kids living? Is this a place where I'm going to be like a super cool bachelor and like, this could be my bachelor. Like, who is that buyer? Yeah. And we just kind of gear it towards that. And I think that, I think it's been effective for us in a lot of ways, and that's the feedback we get. And then you're also kind of taking a risk, because you do a video and what if the model looks like someone they knew in high school that like bullied them or something? They're like, that reminds me of someone, and then they don't want to come to the house. We try and not to be too focused on like the people walking through the house, but just kind of like they're there to show scale and kind of just create a vibe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
From an art curator designer perspective, how do you approach like staging a home and preparing it for the market in that way?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's always like a really delicate thing, especially in really expensive homes, because people like get really stuff that's very specific to what they want. Sometimes they hired an expensive interior designer to do their house, and we'll be like, you got to like take a third of the stuff out of this room. And, that's at times I've been in situations where it's like something's been on the market. And we tell them we got to rethink how this house is shown. It's very traditional. We need to make it feel cooler, or we need to make it feel more neutral. And there's been times where people, they get offended by that, because it's like really a part of them. And we try our best to kind of like convey that this isn't really your house anymore. If you want to sell it, we got to think about who the buyer is. So I think we try and just, we try and make the house look, and we try and make our photographs look like if the house was like an Architectural Digest or like editorial. We try and do like very editorial photos with everything. So we always have that in mind when we do the photos and we stage the house. Like, how can we make this look like something that's in Architectural Digest? Yeah. So that's kind of just how we think of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Can you think of any small details in your listing preparation that many agents might overlook that actually makes a large impact?
I think, I think that doing the videos and all that, but I think it's just also in how we brand houses. We try and brand it like you would a hotel. We try and come up with a name for the house. We try and create something, because you could say like, oh, have you seen 1253 Beverly Boulevard or whatever? But if it's like, and that might just fly through someone's brain, and they'll be like, I don't know what that is. I'll look on Zillow. But if you say, have you seen, Casa Milagro? Have you seen this? That's something that will stick in someone's head, and then it becomes a branded piece. So that's really important to us. So we will brand the property. We'll create logos around the property. We'll create fonts around the property. We'll do a video that ties into the branding. We'll do photos that incorporate the same branding, and we'll do all our brochures, and everything will feel like that. So it's like its own kind of like hotel or, boutique experience.
Yeah, very cool. You mentioned Blake on your team who went to NYU Film School.
Yeah.
Does he handle kind of all of your content creation from photography to videography, or?
He does all our videography.
Videography,
Yeah, he doesn't do the photos, but I think he's also an agent too.
Oh, wow.
And he's killing it. I mean, he's just sold like a $15 million house recently. So he's getting to be too big of an agent. He's probably gonna want to stop doing the videos. But yeah, he's an amazing agent as well. So, but he's so talented at doing it. Like he can do things that look like extremely high production, expensive budget, and in a manageable budget.
Mhm.
And so he's, I've since the beginning, he's basically my partner on this kind of venture. He took the first risk with me. I'd sold 3 houses and he was doing my video and he's like, could I join your team? And I'm like, dude, I don't know if this is going to keep working. Like you're going to have kids, you have a kid. And I don't know if I'm kind of new to this. Like it'll work. And he really had faith. And so we've kind of just, definitely been on this trip together.
Very cool.
And now my team is built since then, but yeah, that's kind of how that went.
Awesome. Do you think high-end content creation and storytelling in that way is going to be a non-negotiable for most serious agents? Like, will everyone need to have their own Blake at some point?
I think that, everyone's got to show, they have to have a value proposition,
right?
Especially, it's more competitive and you're asking someone to pay X amount in commission and one party offers this X and one party offers way less and they can't tell you their value proposition. Like, who are you going to pick? So I think that like when we go after a listing, we really try and show what our value proposition is. And I think that, it's hard to refute what we're bringing to the table. Mm-hmm. Like we try and get everything so tight that it's just like you're going to get your value out of using us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What advice do you have for agents who maybe don't invest a whole ton into this creative marketing, but want to get into it? Where should they start?
I think you're just going to have to invest in your business. You're going to have to like spend some money.
Yeah.
You're going to, especially if you're a new agent, if you get an opportunity to get a listing, you got to just leverage the hell out of it. So whether that's investing in, even if it's not a big listing, like, even if you're selling a $1 million house, not that that's a small amount, that's a lot in most of the world, but in California, it's not a ton. But I think that like, you got to think that my commission is X and I could leverage this into like building a career. So, and what I see is like, I know agents who have been in the business for a long time and they won't like spend any money on photos. They won't do video. They don't do social media. It's like that doesn't fly anymore. Like you gotta like, if you are new and you gotta, whatever that amount is, you gotta go like, I gotta create social media content. I gotta send mailers. I gotta create a video. I gotta do the best of the best photos. So everyone on that street looks at the photos their agent took and is like, that's garbage. But look at what this guy did. You want them to be like almost mad at the other agents. Like, what? Like you really slacked. So if you come in that hot and you invest that money and maybe you don't make as much profit on the first one, but then you're like really establishing yourself as someone who puts great value and adding value to the listing.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned social media. You have an excellent social media presence.
Thank you.
What does that mean for your business? How important is it for you to have that presence?
Super important. Yeah, it's super important. Like I think people underestimate the value of social media.
Yeah.
And we often talk about like when we're coming up kind of conceptually about how we're going to handle social media. Like there's been times where we're like, okay, are we going to do stuff that feels more like natural where you're just shooting it with your iPhone and it just feels like kind of like organic content? Because, from what I've been told, the algorithm wants to pick up organic content. They wants to show something that doesn't feel like it's overly produced. But we've kind of gone like, we could do that and we could pick up more eyeballs or more likes or maybe more, just more engagement. But we're just going to lean into like really high end feeling content. And like, like the people that follow us are clients and friends, and I'm kind of shocked all the time. Like they'll comment, they'll DM us. Like I just had so I just wrote an expensive offer with someone, and this woman just called me and she's like, we saw this house on Zillow, and you seem like a good agent. Do you want to write the offer for us? And I'm like, how did you find me? And they're like, oh, I follow you on social media. I'm like, oh, shoot, it's working. So, so I think that I think you have to be dependent on where your focus needs to be. Like if you want to sell, really expensive stuff, I think you have to feel expensive in how you do things.
Right.
And your production needs to feel expensive. Your photos need to feel expensive. And if you're doing like, single family residences in more suburban areas, like I think you want it to feel more like getting to know the community and feeling really approachable and all those things. So I think it's like just looking at where you want to be and then like just lean into how to effectively reach those people.
Yeah, of course.
So,
and I think you do a great job of staying authentic, but also hitting that very high quality feel. Like I've seen you do some interviews like with your team that you've posted on social, and those come across as very real and authentic, but they have that ultra high quality feel as well.
Yeah. And I mean, that's the people are going to be working with you. They're going to be stuck with you. They're going to be on the phone with you. Like they want to know that you're like, we want to always present ourselves and how we talk to our clients. We want them to feel like there's no ego involved from us. We want you to feel like part of it. This is a collaboration. And when we do stuff with our team, like everyone on my team is like handpicked, super great people. Like our team is just like, there's never any disputes on my team. Like we get along so well. And so having really high quality people and then like showing kind of how high quality these people are, it makes people just kind of instantly trust you. Cause I think like I watch social media and I'll see people on there and they're really trying to show they're important. And you're just like, ugh, it's a turn off. But I think when people are just like speak with you or talk to you like a human being, like you're more curious, you're more like, I trust this person. So I just think it's showing your authentic self in whatever form that is. And that's how you have to interact with social media.
Of course.
Yeah.
In the same realm of digital presence, you've also partnered with Luxury Presence to build out your website, which is phenomenal.
Yeah.
What role does your website play in your business and your brand?
I mean, it's huge. When we have a listing appointment or we meet with someone, like being able to present a beautiful video that, can showcase like not only our listings, but our team, our marketing, all of that. We send it to them and it feels impressive. And for us, it's been fantastic and it's been super user friendly and it's a huge resource for us. And I'm always kind of surprised at how many people are looking on our website on a day-to-day basis. I'm like, are those numbers right? Like and when people reach out and they're like, I was looking at your website, I'm like, oh, how did you get there? But it's been really it's been super effective for us.
I love to hear that.
Yeah.
What other technology are you leveraging right now that you can't live without?
AI. Yeah. I mean, I use AI multiple times a day at this point. I mean, I'm actually going to interview a designer client of ours on Friday. And so I was talking to her and she's like, what kind of questions are we going to do? And I literally went on AI and I said, I want to do this tone. This is like an Architectural Digest level interior designer. And I want it to feel like comfortable, but also high end. And I punched that in and 5 seconds later, I had like 25 perfect questions. And I sent it to her like 5 seconds later. She's like, whoa, these are really good questions. I'm like, I totally cheated. I told her I cheated and I used AI. But I think that we use it all the time.
Very cool. Yeah. How do you think AI is going to influence the design space?
I think it's huge. I think that like yesterday I showed a house to my some clients of mine, and it was like very dark and heavy. And I took the listing photo after we left, and I plugged it into one of the AI bots, and I was like, make this like beachy and bright and feel airy. And I did that, and 5 seconds later, it looked amazing. And I sent it to her, and I'm like, it could look like this. She's like, oh my God, this is just what we want.
Yeah.
So I just think with all this stuff, it's like you have, never before have you had access to things like social media where you can get in front of so many people, like AI where you can be super efficient and creative in a short amount of time. I mean, this is weird to say, but I've even been in situations where I'm dealing with like a difficult situation. I'm planning out the scenario in my mind, and I'll be like, hey, so this is what happened, and can you give me a few ways to resolve this? And it'll give me some pretty good ideas.
Yeah. I was about to say, have you ever like practiced role playing with?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty impressive.
It's great because it starts to learn like your kind of how you speak, and like it'll react to you like your conversation with a friend of yours. It's crazy. I mean, it's insane. It's a little scary, but I think whatever resource is there, like you have to lean into it.
Yeah, absolutely. Your name is almost synonymous with the Southern California coast. How did you brand yourself and establish yourself as the go-to agent for these coastal communities?
I think we just kind of like, our goal was, because we're hyper local in places, but we're also like, our goal was to be like a team that someone who has a portfolio of properties would go like, I'll use you to sell all my properties. Like, and we've had a lot of clients like that. So I think we really leaned into this idea of we're a go-to resource for just any like special architectural home. We want to be like the first person you think of. So that's kind of like been the like our mantra as we move forward and try and like, and just build our brand out.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. How does your lifestyle play into that? I know you're a big surfer.
Yeah.
Love the coast. Like, you really walk the walk and talk the talk as someone who lives in these communities. What role does that play?
I think it's big. I mean, I meet so many people by just, I'm super active. I love to surf. I love to, just be out there, be around people. And I think that a lot of my clients are the same way. So like, we can go surfing, I can get to know people. Like, I'm not, I think for me, it's important to have a lot of dimensions, like, have a lot of activities you like to do, but also like really have a broad range of interests. Cause I think people get so hyper specific. Like, I'm a real estate agent. This is what real estate agents do. But like you, when you're trying to get in high-end homes, like, these people are dynamic and they're smart and they're creative and they're funny and they're curious and they want to do cool stuff. So like, if you can speak to them on that level, rather than I'm just a salesman trying to sell you something or take something from you, that's where it's like you can really establish a deep relationship. Because I'm so like, the biggest ick to me is like, I usually don't even, when I meet people, it'll be like, I'll know them for 6 months and they'll be like, what do you do, by the way? I'm like, I'm in real estate. And then they'll be like, find me on social media and they'll be like, oh, you're like a big real estate agent. And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, why didn't you ever tell me that? I'm like, because I don't want to lead with that. Like, I don't want it to feel like I'm trying to like extract something from you. And it's usually a much more organic way. And that's why I think we, like, with our ultra high-end clients, they feel comfortable referring us, because we're not going to be like, we don't feel like vultures. We just feel like we're advisors, and we can have like very plain conversations with people, or very honest conversations with people, and authentic conversations with people. And like, I just had a listing appointment earlier, and we were talking about it, and he's like, well, I've met with this agent and this agent, and they told me this price. And I'm like, they're not being honest with you. Like, that's not what the price of your house is. Like, you can hire them, and your house is going to sit on the market and it's not going to go well. I'm just telling you the truth. Like, you don't have to hire me, but like, Like you're making a mistake by doing that. And whether we get the listing or not, and a lot of times they're like, hey, I really respected your honesty about this. But I think it's just in every scenario, we just try and be like super honest with what the truth is, and just try and advise people in a way that's like we can build a level of trust with them so they know we're not just trying to get a quick sale or whatever. We're trying to like really look out for them.
Yeah, it's really refreshing.
Yeah.
What are some other tactical shifts that agents can make who are trying to break into a luxury market or build their brand?
Well, I think one of the biggest things is people's mindset. I think people get really stuck in, I've talked to people and they've been in real estate for 10 years and like, oh, I don't know how to get into like high end. I don't know. I'm kind of stuck where I am. And I'll be like, well, have you gotten to the place where you think you should be in high end? And they'll be like, well, I'm not super comfortable yet, and I don't think I could do it. And I'm like, well, you're not going to get anywhere until you like shift your mindset on that. Like you have to, I mean, when I asked to show that client, I can't say her name, but when I asked to show her properties, like there was a part of me that had the confidence from having another business, like, oh, I could be, this is really silly, but I used to watch like $1 Million Listing, and I'd be like, I could do what those guys are doing.
Yeah.
So like I brought like my thinking was like I could be a high-end real estate agent, and so I had the confidence to approach her and think that I could sell that house. But if you don't have that, like, and I talk to even people that have been on my team, and they lead with this like self-doubt that they shouldn't be here or they shouldn't, they're not ready.
Yeah.
But like, I didn't even know how to do a contract, and I did an $11 million deal to start my career. Like, you can do it, but it's just like, but when you have that shift to that confidence that you should be there, then you can start to like walk the walk. But until then, you're just kind of faking it, and people can tell.
Right. Yeah. You worked with a lot of high net worth individuals in your previous work before coming to real estate. Can you think of a really valuable lesson that you learned back then that you still apply today?
I think it's that like high net worth people, and they want stuff done now. Like they want stuff that they want to know, they want to test you and make sure you know what you're doing. Like people that are wealthy, they're surrounded by people that are trying to like, it could be friends, it could be family, it could be people just trying to get money from them. Like people are trying to get money from them all the time or take from them. So like I've always tried to just like anything that's going to feel like I'm trying to get something from them, I try and like erase. Like I would try and talk to them like a friend. So I think from doing that, I think that I just got to a place of, because I started my other business when I was in my 20s. So I was really young, like walking into these houses, and I never really thought much of it because I just got kind of used to it. But then when I got into doing high-end stuff, like when I started, I like, to be perfectly honest with you, in real estate, and I was new career, like part of me was like, don't screw up. So, but then over time, now I just feel, I think it just kind of taught me to just lean in with who you are, and lean in with like, be confident. And just like the more prepared you are, and the like, when you can sit down with someone who's hyper successful, very smart, like, and you can sit there and teach them something they didn't know, like that's a really powerful thing. That's where like you build trust, and that's where you build where someone will respect you, in a business sense. But you gotta know your stuff.
Yeah.
Like, so when I'm showing people high-end properties, or I'm about to list their house, like I know every property. I know who owned it 2 people back. Like I know what sold 2 streets over. I know how that house was designed. I know who they just had as an interior designer. I know what architect did their guest house. Like so like if I don't lead with that, but that just comes up, it's like I have this wealth of preparation,
Yeah.
like that helps build my confidence in those situations.
Yeah, absolutely. What kind of collaboration do you do with architects or designers when it comes to listing or getting prepared to sell these, extravagant homes?
I mean, I do a lot. I mean, I think that a lot of my clients, I have a lot of clients that are like top designers.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of clients that are even like developers who are looking to kind of like elevate the home, and they'll kind of come to me and say, or I'll bring in a designer who of note, and I'll say like, look, you should meet with them. Let's walk through the house. They can consult you on what you should do, or we'll kind of go through like stylistically how we can take your house from feeling like a, kind of just like a regular renovation to like something special. And when you kind of have like this referral network of architects and designers and people that are really talented in that way, and you bring that to your clients, it's like it just kind of brings the whole package of like your team, the designer, the client. Like, so we just try and always like collaborate with those kind of people because it just elevates the whole experience. But right now I also deal with a lot of like high-end designers who are doing their own projects, and because they like to use us because we can do video content that helps build their career also.
Yeah.
Which has happened a
Yeah.
lot.
You're building each other's brands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what we tell them. We're like, we're gonna, sell your house, but we're gonna elevate your brand by how we present it. And that's gonna bring you eyeballs and clients. And I mean, we sold a house last year in Santa Monica for an interior designer. We did a kind of really like fun video. She was on camera, and we ended up selling it to someone in Brazil, sight unseen.
Wow.
And the person totally thought it was another house, and they got there like, they're like, I thought I bought another different house.
No way.
Yeah. But she's like, I like it though. But once again, it was like directly from that video and creating like an emotional response to the house, to the designer, the music. Everything is like, if I live there, I want it to feel like this. We just did one in Montecito, and we're like, the house is kind of European. We're like, we're gonna do this cute girl buying flowers, jumping on a Vespa, and go to the house with like, French music. And that creates, like, for someone who wants to live like that kind of European feel, it just kind of elicits some kind of emotional response from when they went to France or they went to Italy. And, most of the people that are buying these houses have been to those places a lot.
Right.
So that's part of what that's part of what they want.
Very cool. As we wrap up here, what is getting you out of bed in the morning? What really excites you about the future of real estate right now?
I think what gets me up every morning, I wake up and I'm like, to be honest with you, I'm like pretty excited every day when I wake up. Some days I'm not, but most of the time I wake up and I'm pretty excited about like just pushing the envelope of what we can do. And, I usually will have like an early morning call with people on my team, and we'll just kind of, we look at this in a way that's like, we get to like get up and get really creative and on how we're going to present this and how can we do this just like in a way that our clients are going to be so excited. And so like, I think we're just going to like really lean in on innovation, like through AI. How can we reach people through content creation? Like, how can we create multiple spheres or streams of content on different on different either social media or wherever, YouTube or whatever it is. How can we create something that's going to catch eyeballs and excite people and make them feel excited? And when we get great response on one of our videos, it's like super, like, it feels great. And so I think like with everything we do, it's like we're always going to hire the best photographer. We're always going to have the best video team. We're always going to, like, even down to our brochures, even down to the font, even down to the colorways. Like, we want everything to feel like so tight and beautiful. And so there's like no stone left unturned when we have conversations with our clients. We're like, we've done our job. Like maybe the price isn't right, but like you can't like take away the marketing. Like you can't take away how we're presenting your property. If we want to have a conversation about price, then that's the last variable that's left. Like that's it. And then we could leave it to them. But we feel like most of the time we're doing literally anything we can to sell a property. And if it doesn't sell, then you gotta lower your price.
There you go. Eric, thanks so much for being on the show. This was an awesome conversation.
Yeah.
We really appreciate it. For those of you watching or listening at home, thank you so much. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you on the next episode of the Luxury Presence Podcast.